Welcome to the Bag Maker's Workroom. I'm Chris with Simply Classic, and today is Thursday, December 5th, 2024. Hi, everyone. I want to thank you for joining us today. And first, start out by saying I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Obviously, we weren't here last week because we were celebrating the Thanksgiving holiday with our family. And I hope everyone's safe and had a great time, a good relaxing time. Thanksgiving is that time to be thankful for everything in your life. And actually my favorite holiday, if truth be known. I love Thanksgiving. So the Bag Maker's Workroom is every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are super excited about being here. It is a live stream, and one of the best parts of the live stream is being able to interact with all of you. So make sure you type any questions that you have in the chat, and time permitting, we will try to answer some of those questions at the end of the live stream. So we are going to start out today by talking about the Simply Classic Scoop like we typically do. And I just want to remind you about a few things before we get started. And one is that we are going to be returning to Chattanooga, Tennessee at Chattanooga Sewing Machines the end of February, beginning of March. So it's February 28th. We will be teaching the Simply Classic Clutch class. And then on March 1st, we will be teaching the Bircham. So just check out our events page regularly, as we are always updating that with places we're going to be and events that are happening. And we are always excited to see all of you. The other thing I want to mention is that our Facebook Simply Classic Facebook Inspiration Group has changed its name, and we are now the Simply Classic Bag Makers Community. So if you're doing any searches, if you're a member of the Facebook group, you've probably already seen that. Just a minor little change, but I did want to mention it. So later on in the show, we are going to have an Artistry Avenue where we feature some of your bags. If your bag is featured, then you will receive a free PDF Simply Classic pattern of your choice. And what you will do is just post your completed Simply Classic bag in the Facebook group. And if you're chosen, then you will be able to choose a pattern. It's super exciting. We love it. And that is open worldwide. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can go ahead and post that bag and participate in that. Another thing that I want to tell you about is we have before I get going, let me tell you that we have the podcast that we did earlier this week with Janet Szabo. It is called the Straight Stitch Podcast, and we do have a link to it down below. It was really a great time. We got to chat for about 20 minutes to a half hour, and I encourage you to listen to that when you have a few minutes, maybe driving down the road or something. Go ahead and check it out. And then check out all of Janet's other podcasts because they are really great. She has all kinds of people on there and talks about all kinds of different things. So really a great time, and she's fantastic at that. So go ahead and check that out. And then we have a couple of new things that we have on our website. And let me just say first that this entire show today is all about leather. Okay, so we are featuring leather. Our skill builder section is going to be on leather, and everything today is all about leather. So we actually have a skill builder kit that we want to show you. And we're going to go to our overhead camera so I can go ahead and show you what that looks like. So the kit is one of basically 3 different styles of bags, and on the on the face of the kit you can see the different styles. We're going to talk more about this kit next week in our Pay It Forward episode, but I did want to at least mention it because it is a leather product, and it's actually double-sided leather. So this is some leather that we got in from Italy a few months ago, and there's no need to line the bag because it is double-sided. So we have a gray on gray color. We also have we're calling it, I think either brown or taupe color. And then we have these really cool double-sided, or of course they're all double-sided, but double color, I guess is the right word. This is a black and a pink. And so because it's double-sided leather, the inside of this bag is pink, because I put, of course, the pink on the inside. But in the kit, I show you how to do all of these neat little twists and turns. And then we have blue and black. So of course the inside of this bag is blue, and it is just a neat little bag that you can kind of get familiar with leather and build some of your skills. And we will also, as I said, mention it next week in the Pay It Forward section, as I think it is a great opportunity to work with maybe some younger people in your life and be able to pay that forward a little bit and keep the art of sewing alive. All right, the last thing I want to mention is, as promised, we are giving another Band-A-Bag class. So the Band-A-Bag is our online leather class. If you have never used leather before or never worked with leather, then you would like, this is a great opportunity for you to do that. The class is basically over 10 days. We're giving it from January 17th through January 27th. And it is $350. It includes 6 pre-recorded videos, 3 live Zooms, and basically everything you need. So that includes the leather, the lining, the hardware, the stiffeners, the glue, the applicators, silver marking pen. I mean, you name it, it has got it in there. So the only thing you need is a sewing machine and a cutting mat, a pair of scissors, you know, that type of thing, and just kind of the basics. And you will be able to complete this Band-A-Bag. Now, it is a basic bag because it is a beginner, and we're just trying to introduce you to leather and how to work with the leather. And we want to throw up on the screen the colors that we have available. So there are 6 colors available in the kits. We've got a black with a black hair on hide accent. We have hot pink with a hot pink hair on hide accent. We have a blue with a blue hair on hide accent. We have golden brown with a brown hair on hide accent. And then we also have the golden brown with a suede accent. And then the olive green with a suede accent. So there are a lot of different options to the bag. And in the Thursday thread, we're going to kind of move the order of the of today's live stream around a little bit, because I want to lead right into interviewing someone who actually took the Band-A class, and we're going to talk about that in the Thursday thread. So I would like to introduce you to Taylor. And a lot of you have probably heard me say the name Taylor. Taylor is a key member of our team here at Simply Classics. She is the operations manager. And Taylor not only has never made a bag before, but she has never sewn before. She never in her life sewed. So when we did the tester phase for this bag, I had 3 testers, and we figured we want a tester that has never sewn before, because if they can do it, then anybody can do it, right? So Taylor was our guinea pig with that, and she's here again to talk a little bit about that. So welcome, Taylor.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
We're super excited that you're able to hop on. She's usually behind the camera making sure everything works great.
Yes.
But we want to start out with asking you, so as I mentioned, there are 6 pre-recorded videos and 3 Zooms. But generally, how did the class go? How did you feel about the class? How was it?
Okay, so I think overall, and this is not just because I work here, I swear, I would say awesome class. Like it, you know, we did it over the 10 days, just how it's going to be given. And it was so helpful to have not only the pre-recorded videos, but the Zoom sessions. And it was nice because you have the Zoom in the beginning after you get a chance to look at all your materials and kind of what you're going to be starting out with. Then you have that middle Zoom where you're like, okay, I've gone through a couple of the challenges,
Right.
you know, and you can ask questions, and it's nice to kind of show off where you're at.
Yeah.
And then finally that last Zoom, just love it because it's fun, you know, it's nice, and you can ask each other questions. And
yes.
Yeah, so overall, I think you did a great job.
Well, thank you. Let me ask you, what was probably, would you say, is the most challenging part of the class?
I think the most challenging is that it was just so new to me.
Right.
You know, when I started working for you almost exactly a year ago now, I basically knew zero about sewing.
Mhm.
You taught me what, like sewing all, never heard of that. I was like, what is this that you're having around? It's just all these crazy things. And now I can pick up a pattern and understand it. And I think the biggest challenge was being nervous and being almost like you're going into the unknown.
Right.
But then I started and that went away. Like that fear kind of, so the biggest like physical challenge I had was sewing that tunnel.
Yes.
There's a tunnel situation and it was a little tough, but super neat. Super neat.
Okay. Well, very good. And what would you say was maybe the most surprising part of it in the end? Like, what were you surprised by?
Oh, that I made a leather bag.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Also, this is like kind of random. I don't eat meat, and when I started working here, I kind of thought I had like kind of bad, meh about leather, and I've learned so much interesting information, and that it's actually like more environmentally friendly and economical to use the leather hides that are already in existence. So us vegetarians, we got to use that leather and carry those beautiful bags.
That's right.
So that was, that's fun.
Well, we're going to switch to the overhead because Taylor wants to show off her bag.
I do.
And I think it's a great, she's going to show you everything. She's going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly here. So she ended up doing the pink, the hot pink. And then you can see here on the side, you have the hot pink hair on hide. Okay. So that's what this is here. So the entire bag is not hair on hide. You just have that accent down the side, each side.
So it's really neat. So basically the bottom is beautiful. I mean, it's just crisp. Look at that. That is some good pattern writing right there. Okay. You have your Simply Classic key fob, a must have. And then the coolest part is just that you don't have to have a zipper closure. You can easily access everything with just this awesome swivel clasp. And you have essentially like a bucket bag style. So you have slip pocket and, your pen holder. I love my pens. And then zipper pocket. Okay, I'll show you a little challenge I had on the zipper pocket. I did a little bit of cheating and didn't finish the full video and went a little skipped ahead in my brain. And guess what? Don't do that because there's reasons why the video is the way it is. So now I have this beautiful double-lined zipper pocket, but guess what? It's in the zipper and inside, so it's double hidden.
No one is ever going to see that unless you show them.
No one will ever see it.
So let's take a look at your sewing in the tunnel part.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Because you said that was challenging.
So let me see which side. Well, first, let me show you my good side. So I have my double stitch here. But then you get to the tunnel and it just gets a little wonky. It just intersects a little, but sometimes roads just intersect.
That's right.
And they're still going to get you to where you need to be.
That's exactly right. That's a great analogy. I love it. I mean, the bag is, sure, it may not be perfect, but it is amazing. And unless you point those things out to people, they will never know. It is just a beautiful bag. One thing that we're going to switch back to the forward camera. And one thing that I do want to ask you about is your machine. So tell us about machines, because that's a huge question that people have is, will my machine sew this? So tell me what happened.
Okay. So my parents, they love storage lockers. My dad found an old, like a sub company of Burnett.
Yeah, it's Elna machine, yes.
And I believe he said it was from the 90s. So we were born at the same time, me and the machine. And I had no idea if it would work. He said it turned on, he said the light works, but I don't know. So I brought it into Chris. I said, well, I know who can look at that. And it's Chris. And she, after working on it, I left it with her a night and I came in. And what do you know? It's working. It has the hot pink thread on it. It's just ready to go. So I did my lining on the machine and I started to work on the leather. And then we had some issues with like the bobbin tension. It was getting a little caught up, and I think it was just the nature of the beast. So then I switched over to your Texo industrial machine.
Correct. Yes.
And you can see that in the photo here that I'm, let's see, doing the top of the lining of the slip pocket. So putting that leather on there. And that was, I mean, that machine is like butter. I was like, am I even doing anything actually? Because this machine is doing the work for me. But yeah, it ended up, you know, the one thing I don't know how to do, which I'll have to have you teach me, is pulling the threads to the back to tie off so you're not back stitching.
Right.
That was one thing that I thought, well, I'll just do a little back stitching.
There you go.
But I think another thing that I just have to mention for anyone interested in the class is, even though I'm here with Chris and I did most of the class here, you know, I did some prep at home, but the machines and everything, she was here with me, but I actually didn't really like bother her at all for questions, maybe with some like threading the machine and getting some setup ready. But if I had any questions about, you know, what I'm doing next or a reminder, I just went to the videos. I went to, there's kind of like a short version of a pattern to refer back to. It has everything. So I just, yeah, I think anyone should take it. I can't wait for another class to be out so I can make another bag.
And we are working on future classes. This is just, again, a beginner bag, but we're definitely going to be working on more classes and hope to have a couple of them in 2025.
Yes.
So we're super excited about our online classes.
Oh, let me show you the knot really quick. Overhead camera. We almost left out one of the best parts, is this really cool knot right here. And that's one of my favorites because it just is like a small touch that you're not going to normally think of, but you see it and it adds so much personality. So I just think that is a beautiful touch, and everyone get your Banda bag.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Taylor. I appreciate you letting us know how it went. And I mean, Taylor did not ask me, like, and it's not like I sat here and did it for her or with her. I mean, she did it on her own.
Yeah.
And, you know, we in the Zoom sessions, we all talked about, you know, everybody that was present talked about things. We discussed it. And she did it on her own. So I was very proud of her.
It was fun. So yeah, everyone take it and then we can all talk about it and show each other our bags.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Taylor. Okay. We are going to move on to our feature product section. Let me move a couple things here. And in our featured products, we do want to show you, because this is all about leather, we do want to show you a couple of hides that we have, and specifically talk about one in particular that I think is going to be an amazing bag for the holidays. So first, let me grab the bag and we're going to switch to the overhead camera. And this is the Busta bag. Now this bag is made out of leather, and we actually have a combination. We don't usually do this, but we have a kind of a little leather combination kit that you can get to make this bag. Doesn't include the pattern, doesn't include the stiffener, doesn't include, all it includes is the leather. But what it does is you just need a little bit of this. This is a black crocodile. You can see the crocodile pattern here. It prevents you from having to buy a full hide. So if you get this combination, basically what you're going to be doing is getting the leather you need to complete this bag. And if any of you have made the Busta, you know there's two different handle options. So typically I wouldn't have both handles on here, but I did want to show you, you can either use a leather handle or you can use the chain. So if you don't have all the hardware you need to complete this bag, if you buy the leather bundle, I would say go ahead and maybe get the hardware kit as well, so you can make sure you have everything you need to complete the bag. But the Busta bag, I mean, what a great holiday bag. This is, it's so classy. You typically, what I would say is that you would use the leather handle during the day, switch it out for the chain handle in the evening. And it is just a really roomy, amazing, quick sew. It's really a quick bag. You've got, let me show you, we always keep stuff in our bags, but you've got, of course, a zipper pocket on one side. You actually have credit card slots on the other side here because I figure it's a small enough bag. You probably are not going to be carrying a wallet, but you may want to carry your license. your, credit card or something. And it is just such a beautiful bag. So check out that leather bundle if you're interested in this, and you will get, again, exactly enough leather you need to make this Busta bag. So in featuring that, we're going to stay here at the overhead camera, and I do want to show you a couple of leather hides that we have. The Busta you're going to basically be getting this crocodile. I'm going to try to bring this up to the camera some so you can see it's actually an embossed crocodile. And then this is printed leather, meaning it is not embossed into the leather. It's just printed on top of this animal. And these are lamb hides, very thin, easy to work with, just amazing, amazing hides. This here is our embossed ostrich. So it is a lamb hide that has been embossed so that it looks like ostrich. It is 0.5 millimeters. It is super, super thin. No skiving needed. You would use stiffeners just as you would with faux leather on this bag in the same places and everything, because essentially it acts like faux leather because it's so thin. It is just beautiful. We have it in this lighter brown color and also a darker brown color. Now, everybody loves purple, and we actually have several purple colors, but this one specifically is called Eggplant, and it is just a really deep, dark, beautiful purple. It, again, is about 0.8 millimeters thick, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. And then the last one I want to show you is this here. This is our blue-gray color, just a really pretty blue. And again, just a beautiful option for any bag that you may want to do. So, of course, this is just a small sampling of our leathers. We have 75 different leathers in stock and different colors. Most of them are solids, but we do have some texture and some other things that you could certainly take advantage of. And the other thing I do want to tell you about is our makers kits. We do have leather makers kits on our website, and they are basically one for every bag. Not quite, but we do have a lot of them. We have, you can see here, this is a Julie in an Epsom blue. This is our bandit bag. Okay, this is the green one, the olive green, and it has a suede side here. Let me go to the overhead so you can see that. This is one that I made, and I used a contrasting thread. I used a kind of a cream, it was kind of a cream, almost tan color thread, and also edge painted the tan. So even though you're going to get edge paint in your kit if you take the class, and the edge paint's going to match. However, you certainly can use whatever you have. If you decide you want to use a different lining, it does come with lining, but if you decide you want to use a different lining or a different, let me turn this around so you can see it forward, different edge paint, you're certainly welcome to do that. But we go over how to do all of that in the class, okay? Another kit that we have is the Bircham, and the Bircham is this red one that you see up there. And it has the concho on there, and it's just a really great bag. We have a lot of great kits. We're going to go to the overhead one more time so I can show you the Simply Classic Clutch. So a lot of you have made this bag. This is the one that we're teaching in Chattanooga, is the Simply Classic Clutch kit. The kit comes with the leather, the zippers and zipper pulls. It comes with the lining, and you can either get it with or without the pattern. So if you've already purchase the pattern, you can just purchase the kit by itself. And then, of course, it comes in so many different colors. We have red, we have hot pink, we have black, we have a navy, and seems like another color. I can't remember right off the top of my head.
Light blue.
Light blue. Okay, so we have quite a few colors. And then the other thing I want to tell you about on the Simply Classic Clutch is keep your leather scraps, because this is a clutch that I made. Of course, I didn't quilt it. Instead, what I did is I took all different color brown leathers that I had, and I just pieced them together. And when I did this, I used my domestic machine on a zigzag stitch, and I just zigzagged all of these pieces of leather together. Sometimes I use the front of the leather. Sometimes I use the back, like this right here almost looks like a suede, but it's actually the back of the leather. So, you know, do whatever you want to make this unique. But that's just a really cool little clutch. So we actually have some leather scrap bags that are on our site. We don't always have them, but we do have them available right now. And there is a limited quantity. But if you stick around the end of the this live, we're actually going to give one away. So we are super excited about that. We always love giving things away. And the last thing I want to mention is we do have practice hides. Okay, so if you are really nervous and you're not sure what you want to do, either a scrap bag is an amazing thing to get so you can practice with it, see how your machine does with it. And then, of course, just a practice hide. Practice hides do have some damage marks on them. They're not up to our standards to sell as a quote unquote good hide, but it is a great way to get it. You can get comfortable cutting it. You can get comfortable sewing it, and they're just ways to help you out and get comfortable working with leather. Okay, we are going to move on, and we are now going to move on to our Sharpen Your Skills section. And in this section, we're going to do like a kind of a fake demonstration on how to glue. I didn't want to take all the glue out everywhere and have glue all over the place, but I do want to talk to you about stiffeners, because stiffeners for leather and what we call stabilizers for faux leather are slightly different. Now, if you take the class, you can learn all about this. You're going to get the leather stiffeners, but we're going to go to the overhead, and I want to show you some of the differences. So typically, we use Decaville Light for the bottom of a bag, right? Decaville Heavy for the bottom of a bag, or Peltex. And that is obviously a thicker stabilizer. The Decaville Heavy has got a glue on the back, so you can just go ahead and use your heat press or your iron to adhere it. But in the leather world, we have something called Brio. And Brio is, I'm going to kind of pull it up to the camera, and hopefully you will see, it almost looks like it's got little dots in it. And it is, I don't know how to, it's almost like a, it almost looks like a woven type of stabilizer. You can see my fingers through it, right? It's kind of see-through, but it's really stiff. Okay, so this is something that would get glued on and glued in. And in the banded bag class, this is what we use for the bottom of our bag. So for faux leather, we're going to use Decaville Heavy. For leather, we're going to glue in Brio. Okay. Then for a Decaville Light, this is something we typically use on the front, back, maybe sides of our bag. It's Decaville Light. Same type of thing. You have some glue on one side where you can go ahead and adhere it with an iron or a heat press. But in the leather world, we have something called Salpa. And Salpa is actually a bonded leather. So what they do is they take tiny little pieces of leather and they bond them together with glue. And so this, again, is something you glue in. And this comes in different thicknesses, as does the Brio. And we have links to all of this in the comment or in the section below, in the comment section below, so you can go ahead and take a look. Most of these things I do get from Rocky Mountain Leather, but just like with leather, again, the Salpa comes in different thicknesses. So depending on how thick you want the walls or sides or front and back of your bag to be, is going to depend on how thick your Salpa is. Okay. Then a few extra things that we use in leather bags this is called Saba. Now, Saba is a kind of cushion. You know, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's soft, like you can squish it. And we actually use this in the handle. It's a little bit stretchy, but that's really neither here nor there. It's more for the cushion purposes that we're using it in our banded bag. Then we have this, and this is called Velodon. Now, this comes in a couple different varieties. This is actually a peel back Velodon. You can see there's a stickiness on the back. And this is used a lot of times in places you don't want stretch. So in our Banda bag, we use this in the connector, and I'm going to pull Taylor's bag back on here. We actually use it here because we don't want this connector piece to stretch as we are constantly pulling our bag closed. Okay, we don't want this to break and stretch. So that's where we use our Velodon. So Saba, Velodon, Salpa, and Brio. Okay, those are the different stiffeners that we use in leather. Now, there are others. This is not all of them. This is just what we're using in the Banda class. And then, of course, for faux, we're going to use Decaville Heavy, Decaville Light, typically. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you kind of a little demonstration, per se, of how to, we're not going to actually break the glue open, but I'm just going to take a piece of leather. I'm just going to use this this blue that we have here. And this is the back. Okay, here's our front. Of course, you can always use the back, but understand that the back is where you have the different prints on there to show you the square meters of or square foot of the hide. And what you would do is you would take your glue, and there are two different types of glue. You have a water-based glue and you have a chemical glue. The water-based glue that we like to use is called Aquilum, and the leather cement or chemical-based is a Barge. Those are my two favorites. But typically what you will do is you will take and dip your foam brush, or sometimes you can use a like a actual brush, like almost like a paintbrush type, only thicker, obviously. But you dip that in the glue, and what you do is you just literally apply the glue to the back of your leather. Okay, make sure that you get the glue all the way to the edge when you do this. Then you are going to take your stiffener, whatever stiffener you're using, and you're going to apply the glue to the back of the stiffener as well. Now, the key with this is you have to let the glue dry. You have to let it become tacky, because if you don't, when you go to put these two pieces together, they're not going to stick. Okay. And you'll know when it's tacky, because when you take it and you put your finger on it and you lift it, it's going to stick to your finger. Okay. But the only way that either water-based or the chemical-based glues work in leather is you have to apply it to both the leather and the stiffener. Now, in addition to a foam brush, you also have little applicators like this that you can use to get into really small and tight areas. Or if you want more precision, maybe when you're doing the sides, maybe you just want a tiny little ½ inch, maybe you're just gluing the edges, you can use this. It's a lot easier to do than to use the foam brush with precision. Okay. So without, again, breaking open the glue, I did want to tell you about that. I think that that is a great Sharpen Your Skills section. And one of the questions that I get often whenever we're looking at doing the class is, what kind of needle, what kind of thread, and will my machine sew? So we do recommend that you have either an industrial machine if you take the class, or a semi-industrial machine. Now, the semi-industrial machines are basically domestic machines. They just have really strong motors. So for instance, a Janome HD9, a Juki TL18, a Burnett 08, any of those would be excellent options and will get you through this Banda bag, no problem. Of course, if you have a industrial machine, then you won't have any problems at all. We did have one lady, one student that had a problem for some reason. Her bag was great, everything worked fine, but when she started trying to sew the suede, it was giving her a problem. I think she had the golden brown with the suede, and I'm not really sure why. I have not had a problem with my industrial machines, so it might have just been something in the tension of the setting. We're not really sure, but we did kind of work through that and try to help her through that, obviously, during the class. But we do recommend that. And then, of course, the thread is going to be a text 70 thread if you're using the industrial machine with a size 16 needle. You can use an 18, but the leather is so soft. It is a lambskin. And so the 16 needle did a little bit better because it didn't leave as big of a hole. On a semi-industrial machine, we would recommend a text 45 thread with a leather needle in a size 90-14. Okay, so just kind of give you a little bit of information there on threads and needles. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to email me. It is chris@simplyclassic.net. Okay, so we are going to move on to Artistry Avenue. And if you are not familiar with Artistry Avenue, basically it is a section of the show where we feature bags that have been posted on the Facebook group. So remember, again, the Facebook group is now called the Simply Classic Bag Makers Community. So post a photo of your bag, your Simply Classic bag, on the Facebook group. And if we feature your bag, you will rent a PDF pattern of your choice. It is open worldwide. If you are not sure how to do that, or maybe you do not have Facebook, you can always email us directly at share@simplyclassic.net. And if we, again, feature your bag, then you will win. So let's go ahead and take a look at this week's. So we have got the Roseanne that was made by Susan Berry Detweiler. Now, Susan made this amazing Roseanne. And it's an interesting combination. She used a faux leather for the base of the bag. So that kind of darker brown you see is a faux leather. It is not one of our faux leathers, which is fine, obviously, but the leather is camel color. And man, it is just amazing how those two are paired together. So the handles and the flap and the overlay are all out of the camel colored leather. And then, of course, the other is faux. So she just did an amazing job with this Roseanne. Our next one is Shinova. And a lot of you know Shinova as Nova. She actually has her own channel and does amazing work with bags. She has this texture. She actually bought a Birchen kit, and it was in the textured red. And look what she did with it. She actually did a Doctor Who theme bag with the leather, and I believe that she etched it in. And Nova, if you're on right now, you can kind of let us know what you did with the bag to make it look like it's just amazing. She did one in this red, and she also did a really beautiful. She got some eggplant and did an etching in that as well. And oh my gosh, I mean, she is just amazing at how she works with leather and what she does with the bags. And then our next one is by Melanie House. And Melanie used our embossed ostrich to make this Julie. And oh my gosh, what a gorgeous Julie. So she used the light brown and she did the whole thing in it. And shoot, it is just fantastic. I just love the Julie. Anyway, it's one of our most popular bags. And why not do it in that embossed ostrich? Okay, so we are going to go ahead and have you do a giveaway. As I said, we're going to do a scrap bag. So this is a leather scrap bag. And the pieces of leather are kind of like the pieces that I showed you earlier when I was showing you the eggplant and the blue. You know, they're not huge pieces, but they're enough that you can use them. You can kind of get used to it, see how your machine works with it, feel comfortable cutting it, which is always the worst part, it seems. People don't want to cut the leather. And that's even the biggest thing we hear in class. They say, oh, no, I have to cut it. But once they do, they're like, it wasn't that bad. But anyway, type the word hide, H-I-D-E, hide. And we will let the computer pick a winner. But while we are doing that, we're going to do a little bit of Q&A. And let's see what kind of questions we had this evening. Okay, so Nova said, oh, thank you. I laser engraved them. Yes, that was the bircham that you saw, the red bircham. And the laser engraving is just amazing. I've heard and seen people do that before, but wow, she just did fantastic. So thank you, Nova, for sending that in. All right, let's see what other questions we have this evening. So the question here is, will the leather already be cut in the pattern pieces? For the bandit bag. And that is a great question. And the answer is no. And the reason why is because I want you to learn how to cut the leather. So again, that was the biggest thing that people asked about or were nervous about. People are so nervous about cutting leather. But understand that the leather we use, the lamb skin, you can literally use a rotary cutter and a ruler to cut it, just like you do faux. Okay? You're going to plan out your pieces. I show you how to do that in the video so that you can get comfortable before you actually cut. And that's kind of part of the learning process, is learning how to cut it. So we do send you the hides rolled, and then you cut them from there. Okay. So Nancy says, great product. Salpa, can it be used with faux? I would say probably not, only because you have to glue it. And sometimes the faux maybe doesn't work as well with the glue. Sometimes it can almost get too soggy with it. I've experimented with a lot of things, and I have used some of the water-based glue on faux leather before, just kind of seeing what it would do. And when I sewed, like the glue came through the little holes, and it didn't work out very well. So I would say try to keep the bonded Salpa, which again is bonded leather, with the leather products, and then the Decaville Heavy and Light with the faux. Okay. And then Juanita says, about how big of a bag can you get out of a hide? Can you more than one? Okay, so let me explain how to do the conversion, because this is asked a lot. First of all, we do have a leather conversion chart on our website. So if you go to our website and you go to the upper left-hand corner, you will see leather conversion chart, and it has all of the Simply Classic patterns, and it tells you a couple things. It tells you how much leather you actually need, how much leather we recommend, and if there's a contrast, it'll give you the leather amounts for both. So what you would do is you would take a pattern piece, and I have a piece of paper here, and I'm just going to pretend this is a pattern piece, okay? And so we have this piece. It is 8.5 by 11. So let's say we need 2 of these. So we're going to multiply 8.5 times 11. And then since we need 2, whatever the result of that is, we're then going to multiply it by 2. So we're going to take all of our pattern pieces, and we're going to do length times width, and then add everything together. Now, let's say that comes to 1,200, okay? You then divide that by 144, and that will give you how many square feet of leather you need. Now, we always recommend getting a little bit extra. So let's say that you end up needing 3.75 square feet. We recommend maybe getting 5 square feet. So depending on the size of the bag, obviously it's going to depend on how much you need. And yes, you may need multiple hides. The other thing I want to mention when making leather bags is especially when using these lamb hides, a lot of times you don't have enough width to make straps, especially crossbody straps. So I'm going to grab this bircham up here because I do want to show you. We're going to go to the overhead camera. And I want to show you that you need to get a little creative sometimes when using leather, because this particular bag did not have enough strap or enough length in the hide for me to do a crossbody strap. So what I did is a couple things. First of all, I did a buckle on here, because when you do a buckle, you actually have 2 different pieces, right? You have, hold on, let me take this out. Okay, so I had this shorter piece for one side of the strap. And then for the other side of the strap, of course, I have a longer piece. But even with doing that, this piece still wasn't long enough. So what I did was got a little creative, and I ended up putting a rectangle ring and connecting the strap in that way. We have some beautiful, just amazing, nice, thick O-rings that would be great in straps like this. You can use, I probably wouldn't use a D-ring, but I would do something symmetrical, like either a rectangle ring or an O-ring, or even a spring gate O-ring if you have that. You can certainly use that. And then the buckles are a great way to do that. And that's why a lot of the designer bags you see have buckles in the straps, is because they weren't able to get the full strap out of the length of the hide they had, and therefore they had to use two pieces. Now, cow a lot of times is really long, and you can get it out of that, but you're not going to have the softness like you have with the lamb, for straps and such. So just kind of be aware when you do buy leather hides for straps, you probably need to really think about, the average size of the hide as far as length, and then just kind of plan on maybe getting more than one hide for that. Or at least you're going to have to plan on getting at least two lengths out of that one hide. So Leslie says, I've used rectangle rings on straps often. It looks like a designer plan. Yes, it does look like a design plan. And that's the thing that we have to remember a lot of times is, you look at a designer bag and you think, oh, wow, this is so pretty. I love the way they did the strap. But a lot of times it's for a reason. Okay. And that's how you come up with some of these really cool ideas and really cool things on how to do the straps is out of need, right? And we just make it look designer. So we are going to go ahead and say who the winner of our giveaway is. And that is Clarette Bell. So congratulations, Clarette. You win a mystery leather scrap bag. So Clarette and all of the people that were featured in Artistry Avenue, make sure you email share@simplyclassic.net. Let us know that you won, that you were either featured in Artistry Avenue, or that, of course, Clarette, that you won the mystery scrap leather bag. And then we will get those out to you tomorrow. Okay. So we want to thank you again for joining us this evening. Of course, if you are not able to join one week, no problem. All of the live streams are listed on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you like and subscribe, hit that bell notification so you know when we're getting ready to go live. We will return next week where we talk about paying it forward. And I'm really excited about that one. I feel like there's a lot that we can do there to help pay it forward, not only with the art of sewing, but just generally things that we can do as artists to pay things forward. So until next time, everybody, which is going to be Thursday, December 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So until then, happy sewing.